Good evening. Welcome to Let's Create. Today I'm going to show you how I'm going to resin my clock. The clock that Sami made, I placed the numbers on, and what I'm happy about is when the last time I showed it had bowed. Now, since the paint had cured, it's back to its original position. I am so happy about that because I was afraid that it was going to stay bowed forever. So to resin a piece, you're going to need a resin. This is what I'm using. It's a high gloss, waterproof, heat-proof, alcohol resistant, and it's low odor. And I bought this on Amazon, but I believe Michael's also sells this. I don't know if they sell it in this size or a bigger size, because I know I bought a bigger bottle with a 50% off coupon because they are expensive. So, and then 2 measuring cups, one for the hardener and one for the resin. A clean stir stick, something to cover your finished product with. Let's see if this will do, since I have it on a high. Oh, this will do. It won't touch it. This is a picnic umbrella for your food. I bought it on Amazon. Okay, stir stick, gloves, a mask. Even though it's low fumes, you should always wear a mask. But for this, since I'm tutoring and I have to talk, I'm not going to wear a mask. Plus, I have my air conditioner going behind me. What you want to do, there's no silicone on this, but I did take a low lint paper towel, put some alcohol, and just wiped it down. Be careful, because even though this has cured, it will still smear. And the paint, you'll see some of the paint come off, but it won't fully come off. It just takes off surface of it. And I got a little blue there from the paper towel, but that's okay. And I covered the hole with a balled up painter's tape. And even with that, you'll still probably need to drill to kind of like scrape off the resin once it cures. But that's just to help me out. And like I said, prior to resining it, I added the numbers. And I wish I'd have filmed that, but maybe next time. It's real easy. I bought these number stickers from Walmart. They're the 6 value pack. They were like $2.84, and there's black, silver, and gold in the pack. And you'll need at least 3. You need to at least buy 3 of the 6 value pack, because especially if you're putting all of the numbers, you will need a lot of ones. And unfortunately, there's only 2 per, well, actually it would be 4, because there's 2 of the silver, 2 of the gold, 2 of the black, but then you would still need another thing because you would need all your ones for the 10, 11, 12, and then your 1. All the other numbers are good. So I have a lot of these because all I needed were 1s. So I'll show you the mechanism. This is the mechanism, and it has to be the long nose. Make sure, especially on like a 1 inch, I believe this is about an inch thick wood, you need the long nose. I bought this at Michael's. It's by Art Minds, and they have gold and black colors only, and the hands are, there's your, this is the second hand, this is the minute hand, there's your hour. So this is the exact length that I need for this. They do have shorter hands like these, but it'll look stupid with this 10-inch round. Make sure that you're getting the right kind of nose. I call it a nose. I don't know what it's actually called, but it's a nose. Let me put those aside. So I have these 2 measuring cups, and I doubt if I'll need 40 milliliters. So that would, 40 and 40 would be 80. That would probably be way too much, but I'd rather have more than not enough. So then once you're done cleaning, you let it dry for a bit. Make sure you don't touch it with your bare hands after you clean it with alcohol, because lately, I don't know what's been happening, but my resin that I've been, like especially with my coasters, they haven't been adhering. So there's plenty of dust. Take a lint-free cloth and then just wipe it and look around like this. Make sure that there's no lint. And these numbers come pre-glued, but I added extra glue to some of them because they don't stick all that well. So there's that. Make sure you read the instruction booklet that comes with this. Since I've used this before, this is a 1-to-1 ratio. So that means whatever amount you put in the resin, you have to put the exact same amount in the hardener. So, and then I think you stir it for 2 minutes, and then you stir it again for another minute. So a total of 3 minutes. That's what I remember. But each resin are different. I've used what was the one that I've used? I used KS resin. I've used this one called Bumblebee. I think that's what it's called. Bumblebee resin. That's the one that didn't stick to my coaster, so I don't know if I'll be using that again. I'll take which one is this? This is the resin. And make sure you don't mix up the lid. The hardener has a black lid, the resin has a white lid. Keep them separate. What's best to do is to, as soon as you pour your resin or your hardener, you put your lid back on. Because even if if you mix them up, even if a drop of, say, a hardener goes into the resin, it ruins your whole bottle. I got these from the Bumblebee. They came with it. So it's in milliliters. So there's the 40. I'm going to get to that line. Generally, I just put them on my my scale and do an equal measure. There we go. It hit the 40. I'm going to set it down someplace level. Yep, it's under 40. Set that aside. Cover my bottle up nice and tight. Take my second one. Go to the 40. There we go. Make sure. Yep. Even keel. Nice and tight. So then I have a separate cup where I'm going to pour both of them in there. Like I said, to me it's easier to put this on a scale, but I saw on, can't remember which YouTube artist said that you shouldn't do that, but then I saw other YouTube artists who does it by the scale. So I don't know. So far, other than my coasters, everything seems to be doing well with me using the scale, especially like the paintings that I resin for my boyfriend. Try and scrape off as much as you can from the glass, because don't forget, they're equal measure. This way, to me, it's so much easier to just put them on the scale. But the one artist I was watching stated that the hardener is thicker than the resin, so it weighs more. But it hasn't given me any problems. This has like a 45-minute work time. Okay. Rinse these off as soon as you're able to. So then we're going to stir this for 2 minutes. So I'm going to tell Google to set a timer. Hey Google, set a timer for 2 minutes.
2 minutes. And we're starting now.
Now, as you stir, you want to scrape the side. And also you want to, every so often, scrape your stick. Then scrape the side. This way you're getting everything combined. And it'll ooh, something got in my resin. Don't know what that is. It's gone now. Must have been something on my stick. After the 2 minutes, you should see it mixing, because prior to that, it'll be like thready looking. Scrape. Hey Google, stop timer. If you're making a great big batch, like you're doing a lot more than just one item to resin. Hey Google, set the timer for 1 minute.
1 minute. Starting now.
And you're making a container of this. Make sure once it's fully combined, make sure you put it in smaller containers. One day I kept it in a huge plastic container, and the resin heated up. It was so hot. It was almost too hot to handle, and I couldn't figure out why. So then it was starting to get sticky. So then I heated it up with my heating gun. And so I thought it melted enough for me to keep going. Hey Google, stop timer. The whole plastic container melted, and the resin I'd say I'd had to have had a good half a cup more left in the container. And it was no good, and I wasn't even done resining half of my because I was doing a lot of coasters at the time. And don't worry about the bubbles. There are a lot of bubbles in there. So my resin is well combined. Now the other thing that you're going to need is a torch, a good one. And don't forget, since we're going to be resining, do not flick your torch on top of your painting, because sometimes a little piece of flint or something that's in the inside of your torch will fly, and then you don't notice it until your thing is all dry, and you're like, oh no, I've got a little piece of whatever that is, fleck. And I also have a heat gun. It's hard for me to get to it right now, and it comes with attachment. I bought it on Amazon. I think I paid like $15 for it with attachment. It was real cheap. Then I have an embossing gun, looks just like this. And then I bought this because it says it's a resin bubble popper, but technically it's just an embossing gun. It's the exact same thing as my embossing gun. But you can use this to, like when you're making cards, you're embossing something, this is what it's good for. Now, I'm gonna use this to kind of like help my resin flow a little bit, just in case my resin's too cold. It's at room temperature right now. I should have set it in a warm bath. Like you could set the resin in like a tap water warm bath for about 5 minutes, and it'll warm up the resin. But my room, even though it has the air conditioner, it's still very hot in here. So I have this. I have my little torch. So let's resin. Let me stir this some more. Move this close to me. Now, you make sure you wear gloves with resin. So what I'm going to do is make sure there's no lint. There's nothing worse than that should be good. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use, you could use your stick and spread it just like that, but it's easier for me to just spread it with my hand, with my gloved hand. Make sure you get, now the one place where the resin thins out is at the edging right there. So you do your best to try and add more to the edging and then cover your sides. Just like this. And press on your numbers. Even though I added glue to some of them, this is where your air bubbles are gonna keep coming out of. If there's air pockets in there. Now the resin will hold your numbers together now. That's why I wanted to add my numbers before. Okay. And since there's metallic and micas in these, you'll see flecks. And it'll look like dust, but it's not. It's the micas. And this is why I leave my my piece taped after I done my pours on them, because the paint that's on the tape will help seal it from the resin getting into the bottom of your piece. Now, look at make sure that you have good coverage on the side and on the edge. Make sure you have good coverage where your numbers are at. Well, it looks like my resin is taken because I don't see a spot where it's trying to escape from. Set that there. I am going to change out my gloves because I don't want to touch my torch. Set those right there for right now. Put on new gloves. Yeah. So now I'm going to warm up the resin a bit, let it move a second. And it also helps, this also helps pop bubbles. And then you're going to check and make sure that your numbers are not standing up. Like my one over here is standing up. I'm just going to push it down, tamp it. Tamp your numbers down. That number 11 is staying up. Okay, seems like. Hello, welcome back to Let's Create for the unveiling of our resin pieces. They're they're not cured yet, but they're hard enough for us to handle and remove the back of the tape. So here are the pieces. And look at the clock. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Now there are a couple of air bubbles there, but they're very tiny. And if I wanted to, I can sand it and put another coat of resin. But they're so minuscule. Just for me, I wouldn't do that. But if it was to sell, I would put a second coat of resin on it. There's that. And I put on, since these are not fully cured, you don't want to put a lot of fingerprints on it. So I got these gloves from something I purchased. They're pretty dingy now, and they don't fit, but they'll work in this situation. So I ordered some more. I call them butler's gloves. Ordered some more from Amazon. So they should be coming probably soon. Let's see. Okay, oh, and let me show you our coasters. The coasters turned out flawless. The pits from me messing up the first coat of resin are gone on both of them. So I'm happy about that. And they are both flawless. And the clarity on them is beautiful. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to remove the tape on the back. Now, they'll be a little bit stiff. That's why I put this. And don't touch the middle. Try and just do the side. That came off. Move that. There we go. I might have to remove one of the gloves because I can't get a grip of the. Now, even though the other resin that I put in had already cured, since I added some more resin, it'll come off real easy. And if it doesn't, I have that heating gun where I could just heat them again and soften those little valleys, the little mountains of drips. Little piece there. Now remember I was telling on my first video where I did the paint on this. Remember I said that these tiles are very porous, so things even seeps in on the back. So we have couple of area, but that's okay. You have, these are what came with these tiles, but the last one that I'd ordered, these are my second order. I think there's 12 in a pack. These were my second order. The first order was short one of these. So, so when I ordered the second one, I took one of these and put it on my other set of coasters that I did. But these are what comes with them. So it helps hide the little blemish in the back. Oh, since I only have 5 of those and I have 6 of these, I thought, well, let me be smart and buy this. It comes with squares and round. The only thing is, the round ones are thicker, but not as wide as the original ones that came with it. I like these ones because they're thicker, but I like these because they're the diameter of them is much. It's about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch, maybe wider than the ones I bought called Decopalm, and these are self-adhesive also. But I also when I put them on the back of my tiles, I still put the, what you call that, more glue in the back to help secure them. Okay, since we have 6 tiles and I only have 5 of these, I'm going to use 6 of these and save those for another day. The only thing is, when I was doing all these, out of the 6, only this one turned out flawless. So these 2, I was experimenting to see if a different, because I started out with the KS resin. So then I ran out of the KS resin, so I couldn't do a second coat on these. So I used the Bumblebee resin, which I purchased on Amazon. Then I ran out of the Bumblebee, and there was still pits here. So then we used the Envirotex, the Envirotex one, which is the Pour-On Envirotex. I bought that on Amazon, and they also sell it at Michael's. Having said that, I can only put the cork on 3 of them for now. The other 3 will need to be, even though they look flawless, I can see some air bubbles, some dust motes, and a little bit of pitting here and there on them. But I didn't want to try doing resining different resins on these, since they can be okay by like this, but I don't like the air bubbles that popped up. So the 3 will need to get sanded and coated. So now that I know that I can use a different coat, a different brand of resin, I'm going to probably resin these tonight along with my other paintings, and hopefully they'll turn out as flawless as these did. So let's remove the other and just heat it up just a little bit. Enough just to soften the resin. should be good. Don't force them too much, because you could still just, if they're still being stubborn, you can still heat it up. So just kind of smooth off the area a bit. So, see, you get some paint, the resin, residue, it seeps in. Like I said, these are very porous. They're unglazed. And I like round coasters. I love these round coasters. I would definitely buy more from Amazon, but they are a bit expensive. Here's my, I use art glitter glue or the reptile glue. The reptile glue, I'll use the reptile glue. Let me just go get it a second. This is what it looks like. I ordered it from Amazon. Fairly expensive. Since shake it up a little bit since it's been sitting on my shelf since the last time I used it. I'm just going to do one on camera for you, and then we'll do 3. Since we have 3, why not do 3? There we go. I'm going to just take the adhesive backing off. What it looks like. So, once again, let's put a little, especially around the corner edges. There we go. Just lay it down. And don't tap it down yet till you can center it. So let look finish. There we go. I mean, it's kind of terrible if you have such beautiful coasters on the front and then you got a lopsided backing. So you just want to make sure that it's as centered as possible. Tap it down, set it, and it should dry. Last one. Don't squeeze them yet, just lay it there and then fix it, center it. Okay. Then push it down. And don't, since we added glue to this, don't put them on top of your tile. I learned the hard way. I used the first tile that I resined, they were the square tile, and then I added the glue on there, and then I put the E6000 on it, and the E6000 seeped through the cork and onto my pretty painted resin piece. So keep them apart, and when you decide that they're dry enough, you put them together. I would take either these, I would save these, put them right there, put them on top of each other, and then you could use those as your safety, barrier. It's your safety barrier from one coaster to the other. Or you can take some parchment paper and use that. But I'm going to save these so that I can do what I just showed you later. So those are done for the clock. Now, if I were going to resin this again, I would leave this on there. But since I planned on not resining it again unless the customer would like me to try and get it as flawless as possible. Like I said, sometimes it's the mica that's in your metallic paint that looks like bubbles, but it's actually the mica. That's what I found anyway. So I'm going to remove this, the back of this. Let's see, where can I start? Okay, there we go. What I was thinking of doing was taking a piece of felt, black felt, and cutting it into a round piece and gluing it to the back of this to give it a more finished look. I purchased this mechanism at Michael's. I think it was like 10 something, and they had the 20% discount on it. So it'll come with 3 hands, the hour hand, the minute hand, and then the second hand. And they're in black. Now, I know you noticed that I chose the numbers to be in silver, not black. I wanted the numbers to kind of like fade in the background. I didn't want them to be the main focal point. But I do want the hands to be the main focal point. If I wanted them to kind of like also disappear, since these didn't come in silver, I probably would either spray paint them in silver, which I don't like to do, or paint them with my Deco Americana metallic sterling silver, because that would look pretty. But sometimes when you paint over these things, they don't always turn out as pretty as the original color that's on there. Okay, so this piece, like I said, it's a long nose. Comes with a little tiny screw there for the minute hand. Just remove it. Don't lose it. Set it aside someplace where you can see it. And then it comes with the screw to hold that in. Just unscrew that, set that there, and then it comes with a rubber washer and a gold washer. Set those aside. The rubber washer has a notch on the one side. Now, since I plan on putting felt around this clock, I would have to forego this. But if I were leaving it there, and as long as this goes in there long enough to where you can tighten the screw, then there's a notch. I don't know if you could see that right there. I would flip that down and set it in there, because that will be your back. Whew. So then you take your clock, you insert the nose, and if you wind up with resin or paint in there, what I generally do is I take my X-Acto knife and just kind of like scrape, do it from the other side, because you don't want to mess up. I did a pretty good job of keeping resin and paint out of there. I can just go ahead and stick this in. Now you want this, because it has an area where you can hang it up. You want that as your 12 noon evening part of your clock. That way you can always know where 12 noon is. Yeah, let's see. There we go. So making it go to the 12 noon. Let's move that aside. Okay. And it'll move from where you have it, but you can always fix that. I'm going to use a needle nose. I have better pliers than this, but the needle nose will work just as well. So take your washer, put it right there. Take your, what is it called, a nut, or whatever this thing is called. I don't know what it's called. The little screwy-looey thing. Take it. Take it and hold your thing and try to get it started with your hands first. Yeah, I'm not going to get it started with these gloves on. And it's okay for right now if your hook is not on the 12. Like I said, that can be fixed. Okay, I got it started. I'm going to tighten it. Do it real slow, because with the needle nose, you have a chance of your needle nose slipping and scratching up your finish. Ooh, it looks like it's still perpendicular to my 12 and the hook. Okay, so now for the nose. Now these things, the hour hand and the minute hand, have a protective layer of plastic. So you gotta do your best to try and get it out of there. I didn't know that. I always wondered why it was dull, because when I first started making like my plate clocks, I didn't realize that there was a coating until it started pulling apart on its own. So there you go. Get that out. And there. See, that side. Remove the one. The second hand doesn't seem to have one. Yeah, because you could tell the colors. Ugh. Okay, so this is simple enough. All you do is you press it down. Sometimes you'll hear like almost a snap, but other times you don't hear it. You just know that it went in there. There, up, there you go. It snapped for me. So then this part has a square, a rectangular hole. So it matches this. So the part where you need to put it in is also square. Just play with it until it goes in. There you go. It's in there. Now you take the little screwy Louie thing, the little tiny one, the one that'll give you a fit, and then you turn it until it's tight enough to where the minute hand doesn't touch the hour hand. Oh, it's lopsided. Sometimes you gotta fiddle with this until it's so tiny and hard to see sometimes. There we go. No, it's still cockeyed. See what I mean? Pays to have long fingernails when you're doing this. I don't know why. Gotta remove my glasses so I can see. You just work it until, there we go. Now it's turning. You can just tighten it because it has these little grooves. There we go. Just like that. We're at 12. If it's still loose, which I can feel mine moving, see, still moves. Keep it on the 12. Tighten some more. I'm not going to tighten it too much because I'm going to remove it again whenever I do the felt backing or painting it black. Now you take your second hand and there's a little what's that? I'll call it a stick. It's got a hole in the middle, and it just goes into the center of where you just screwed the minute hand to. Then you just, and then you push until it snaps in there. There we go. So let's go get a battery. Get a battery, see if it works. So always check them with your AA battery. hold this down. It's kind of hard. You insert the one with the little belly button first on in there, just like that. And yeah, push that. And voila, we have a working clock. Okay, well, if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave me a comment. And if you want to purchase any of my products that I've shown so far, you can email me at rosalie_bromley, BROMLEY, at yahoo.com. Or you can email me at rosaliebromley, all one word, at gmail.com. Well, once again, thank you for joining me on Let's Create. I hope you had fun, like I did, creating these videos. And give me a thumbs up if you, or a like. Think about subscribing to my video, and hope that we can stay on YouTube long enough to show you other things that we can create. So, have a good night. Thank you so much. Bye.